Grudge Warriors is a car combat video game that was released by Take-Two Interactive for the PS1 back in the year 2000. And at launch, this game was retailed at a very low price of just under $10. And the reason behind this was because of recent changes within Sony to drop the prices of licensing fees for titles that were being developed at that time, as the PlayStation was going through a transition, as it was coming to a point where the PlayStation 2 was in development and it was about to be released later that year. So the sales of PlayStation games and even consoles had started to slowly dip. So Grudge Warriors is heavily influenced by the Twisted Metal series, as it is a vehicular combat style game where you play with the likes of armoured tank-like vehicles, and your goal is to complete objectives throughout each of the levels. Unlike the Twisted Metal games where you had to destroy all of the opponents within a level, this game adds a little bit more into the mix. Not only do you have to destroy other opponents, you also have certain objectives to complete, as you could have like generators that you have to destroy within a level. You also have certain puzzles to complete, and you have different tokens and items to pick up throughout the course of play. So you have multiple objectives within each of the levels in the game. So it definitely adds some really unique features and tries to reinvigorate the car combat genre, as at that point it was starting to slowly go into a decline, because even the previous or the more later entry Twisted Metal games didn't receive as favourable reviews compared to the likes of Twisted Metal World Tour, which is considered to be the best car combat game on the PlayStation 1 and even one of the best of those games ever. But with all those ideas and those unique touches in mind, the game itself didn't receive great reviews, with magazines kind of slating it, kind of putting it down as more of a poor man's Twisted Metal, and they were slating it because of the graphics and the gameplay style. Now yes, the control style and the mechanics are very, very similar to the likes of the early Twisted Metal games, where to move you have to use the direction buttons, which can be a bit fiddly for some. But aside from the poor reviews, the game still is very much sought after, as it is one of the reasons why I'm making this video, as it's one of the most requested videos that I've been asked to review. And it's easy to see why, as there is a lot of unique features. It takes everything that is good about the Twisted Metal games and other games like it, with the likes of Vigilante 8, and it adds a lot more elements into the game. Now the only difference with this compared to other games is the maps that you play on generally are a lot smaller compared to those other games. They're not as big and vast and wide open. You're kind of playing on more style of islands, where you do have loads of like hidden tunnels and areas to explore. But that's the fun and unique element about this game, is that there is, even for the depth of the levels, there is loads of areas to figure out and to explore. Like, you have to complete objectives like I mentioned earlier in the video, where you have to destroy generators and complete certain puzzles and collect tokens, but not all of them are easy to find. You really have to spend time with trying to figure out and find all these areas and unlock certain doors so that you can move forward into another area to collect all the things that you need to get. So it does add a lot more depth to the gameplay. And even aside with the likes of the negative reviews, it's still a decent game to play. It is difficult, mind you, even having spent time playing it myself. It definitely took a bit of getting used to, but once you get familiar with the gameplay style and the game mechanics, there is quite a bit of fun to have. It can be frustrating at times, I will admit, I'm not going to deny that, but I can clearly see why so many people really like this game, as there is a lot of really cool features in it. And regardless of what the magazines say, and I always say this in a lot of my videos, even games that don't get great reviews, there's always something about them that is really unique that other games don't have. There's always something in it, or there's a piece of gameplay in it that really stands out among other games. And if you happen to play these types of games back then, you'll always remember that. You'll always find something in it that you like, and that's what I always found personally with games. That's why I love the PS1 so much. I find some of the greatest games I've ever played on the console were the games that nobody else would ever touch or would even look at, and obviously got slated in the magazines, but I always found something unique about them. Now yes, they weren't as well refined or as well finished as other games, but they always had something unique that was different from everything else, and for that alone they are worth playing. Like, this is not a horrible game, this is a really good game if you really just sit down with it. It really just depends on people's tastes. That's really the key point that I'm trying to get at here, is yes, this game wouldn't be for everybody. I'm not going to deny that. But if you do like car combat games, and if you are a fan of the Twisted Metal games, you will get some fun out of this game. It does also have access to a 2-player deathmatch mode, so you can play with your mates, and it is good fun. So there's a lot of unique elements in it that will keep you entertained for some time, and with those elements in mind, you can see why it is kind of like a fan favourite, if you will, amongst gamers, because a lot of gamers growing up, even that have been asking me to even do this review, I know myself that a lot of people would have grown up in that era when this game was released, so they would be very familiar with this game because there'd be a lot of good memories, because I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of stories to share about it. So there is definitely a lot here to keep you entertained, and not only with the factors with the levels and the gameplay style, you can also upgrade all of your weapons and your vehicles. You can upgrade different weapon types and various components to your vehicle so that you can make them more powerful as you play through the game, the further you get into the campaign. So that in itself is a reason to keep playing, to unlock all of those extra features. There's plenty of levels on offer within the game, so there's more than enough to have a bit of time and a bit of fun playing this game, as there is a lot to do. Again, it all depends on how much time you want to put into it yourself. And I would really love to know your thoughts on Grudge Warriors for the PlayStation, and what stories do you have to share of the game back in the day? Did you really enjoy playing the game, and do you like these type of games, or maybe not so much? I'd love to hear what stories you do have about the game, so be sure to share them down in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more of these type of videos where I do more reviews and gameplay style of videos of games similar to Grudge Warriors, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be updated when future videos are released. And to see more videos similar to this that I have on the channel, be sure to check out this playlist on the screen here for more gameplay style videos like this. So until next time, make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them, and keep those gaming memories alive.